Today we're going to be talking about DC20, y'all. Oh, snaps.
Po snaps. We're very excited about today, everybody. Hello. Thank you for entering the pocket dimension. There's three of us today. We've got my brother Evan on that side. We've got our sister Fitz on that side. And we like to talk about all things TTRPG. And we're very, very excited about today because our friend, the Dungeon Coach at the Dungeon Coach, our friend Alan has released the alpha for his TTRPG, upcoming TTRPG called DC20, officially called DC20. We don't exactly know what the DC stands for, but that's the name. That's the name. And what is really cool about today, we're going to talk about it, is that Fitz has... sorry. Fitz has kind of been a part of the editing crew behind the development of this alpha. And so you have some kind of insights on this game that we don't even have and can explain and answer some questions and stuff like that. I'll also say that all three of us have played this game, DC20. It's one of the best role-playing experiences we've had. So we've been talking about it on this channel a lot. We've played it twice. Evan has played it once. Let's just dive in. Where do we start?
Well, and the coach is here.
And the coach is here.
Come on. I know where to start.
Okay.
We've already covered this in some other streams, but let's just really quick off the top for anyone who may not know. Fitz, tell us what exactly is DC20 and who's behind the genius of this game?
Yes.
Oh, so our dear friend Alan of the Dungeon Coach is behind it. You folks may recognize that name from other sort of 5e supplements like Alkandar's Almanac. And, he had been working on his own system for, I think, a hot minute, maybe on the back burner. And then when the OGL existential crises happened back in late December, January, he finally pulled the trigger and was like, that's it. I'm making my own system. No more supplements for 5e. Well, actually, I feel like maybe he said he was going to make some more. Whatever. That's
He's allowed.
A few more.
Yeah. I'm going to make my own.
More for the road.
Yeah,
more for the road. I'm going to make my own. And so, Matt, you actually had been sort of slightly aware of Alan before this and had been consuming his content for a while. And then just you happened to catch that he was going to be playtesting DC20 at GaryCon. And so we hopped on and joined, and AK and I became absolutely obsessed. And then at Gen Con, Evan joined us for another playtest, and he also became super obsessed. But DC20 itself is a tabletop role-playing game. Very similar to the Dungeons and the Dragons, or a Pathfinder, kind of in that same realm.
A fantasy-based TTRPG. Yeah. Sick.
Oh, yeah. All Kickstarters will now be DC20. So he does have... So basically where we are, I'll speak kind of his timeline. So right now, as of this week, his alpha for the system dropped. And it is now being worked on to be in beta. Hopefully that will release, I think, springtime-ish, maybe. And then the goal is for the Kickstarter to happen sometime, I think, early next year. Please correct me if I am wrong. Alan, in the comments. But if you want to be alerted for when the Kickstarter goes live, if you are not someone who likes to sneak a peek of their presents before Christmas, you can head over to his Kickstarter and follow it so that when it does go live, you'll get alerted from Kickstarter to support.
Yes.
Let's get a link in there on screen at some point.
Yes.
That,
I'll work on that. Yeah. Let's find that and put it in the chat as well. There's a lot of people in the chat today. Welcome Phoenix and Garrett and Swordplay and Sorcery, and of course Seth, our friend Michelle, and then Fanboy Casey. Lots of just Jax and Mike. Oh man, welcome everybody. We're really power hungry. We're really excited that y'all are here. We know that this is a whole lot of Dungeon Coach love, and he deserves it. And I will say, I'll just say that the reason I found the Dungeon Coach's stuff, which you should do as well, if you play Dungeons and Dragons, I just started typing in Google, I want the death rule to be better, or I want to change short rest or long rest or something, and boom, every single time he would come up as kind of the homebrew master and
the person.
Thoughtful
fix.
Yes, the thoughtful fix with tons of style. And then we met him in person. He could have been a royal asshole, but he wasn't. So here we are, and we're so happy that this is all happening for him. I know that Alan's been working really, really hard on this. So our goal is, let's do the Kickstarter. Let's join his Patreon. Let's give this man a full-time living so that he can put this amazing game out and then get some well-deserved rest. But not today. Not today. So let's talk about why we think DC20 is awesome. Yeah?
Yeah,
we've done a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, you've already hinted, Matt, I think at the reason you went looking for material anyways was that there are items in D&D 5e particular, which is because that's what we have mostly been playing. I know that there are problems within other systems that folks complain about. For us, it's 5e that we generally get mad about. So you as our DM went on the internet trying to find all the things, and just Coach's material, even for 5e, fixes or changes or tweaks or creates options that just sort of upgrade the experience. And the goal with DC20, and the thing that we feel with DC20, is that it is a system that has those fixes baked in.
Yes, it does. It is a well thought, and I've said this before, and it's really really cool because you mentioned the OGL happening, and that was certainly, everybody was thrown out, especially people like the Dungeon Coach, who was already starting to make a living as a creator on YouTube with Dungeons and Dragons. Was that going to go away? He didn't know. So that's why a lot of people, and we're talking about Tales of the Valiant, we're talking about Matt help me out. MG.
Easy for you to say.
Yes, I know.
Oh, the MCDM.
MCDM. Thank you. Are all kind of throwing their hats into this fantasy game ring, right?
Yeah. Who's going to build the better mousetrap?
Who's going to build the better mousetrap? And it's never about to topple D&D, because D&D, like I've said, is like Kleenex. This is what you say about role playing games. But who can do it the best? And one of the main things I upon playing DC20, I just assumed that this was going to be sort of a variation on the SRD, and kind of a small dive away from it, adding a lot of the Alcander stuff into it, right? No, not at all. This is a new game, y'all. This is a very new game. And it borrows from some of the best, but there's a lot of Alan that's like stuff that I have not found. And I read all kinds of, TTRPGs, fantasy or not. And there are some really super unique things about DC20, even in the alpha stage, that we have just been super psyched about. So that's my story.
Yeah, and I'm just going to put it out there that I'm manifesting that DC20 will be the David to the Goliath and will overthrow the empire that is. We're telling the universe what we want, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's allowed.
Yes.
That's allowed. Of course, anybody in the
force
chat
is strong
with
this one.
It is very strong. Anybody in the chat that is here that has gotten their eyes on the alpha that just got released, please share your thoughts and your manifestations as well. And I like Rules and Ruling says, yeah, that jerk is pleasant and cool even when he's dying of the plague. It's true.
Oh, no.
We've seen him dying of the plague, and he's still nice. So. Yeah. All right. So where do we start, everybody? Well, how do we? There are a lot of people who know what this game is, right? There's a lot of people who have been, on the Patreon from the beginning and kind of seeing the whole thing. But what about the people who don't know what we're talking about? Brother, you have a way to start?
I think it's a great place to start.
Right,
and between the three of us, or even the four of us, AK, sadly not here today. She's off having fun with friends. I am the least indoctrinated. I got a quick run through by Alan when we made characters and stuff. So I would love to dive into just some high level what makes this game unique. And to all the DC20 fans in the house, you guys are just you'll know all this. But if you're watching this and you're wondering what is this, we're not going to necessarily get into how is this different from D&D or Pathfinder necessarily, but what is it about this game that makes it unique? And there's a lot. So we won't touch on everything today, but we'll get started. Yeah. And I think the place to do that is probably attributes and the prime attribute.
Yeah. Let's talk some attributes.
Our resident expert undoubtedly is Fitz with all of your behind the scenes knowledge and influence that you've had.
I've had very little influence. It's fine.
So you very little. That's not true. That is not true. Your name is in the alpha credits.
Yeah.
Is it not?
It is. And I'm very proud and I'm very happy. And I will say that even in the alpha, there was stuff that I had not seen before. So it was a nice little surprise to read through and be like, oh, holy shit. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, we'll start with the prime attribute and just the four attributes. In fact, what I will say is a couple things while we have folks' attention before we sort of dive in and get really nerdy about what sparks joy with DC20 for us. Two items. One, folks, we've got a lot of new people in the chat. If there are for those of you who have already taken a sneak peek at the alpha, we would like to hear what is either the thing that you're most curious about or is your favorite so far, or something that you want us to dissect and maybe explain. We'd like to see in the chat maybe what... or in comments later if you're watching the replay. Yes, the Ranger rocks in this game. Oh God, it's so good. Things like that.
We've got
we want
to see already. We've got from Phoenix, simple to learn, wildly customizable, massively promotes teamwork. Could not possibly disagree with that. That is exactly what I feel. And then we've got the Ranger rocks in this game, and it really, really does. It really. Amen to that.
And then also I wanna call out that we have not decided the end date for this because this was a quick decision on our part. But y'all, for anybody who joins our Patreon at the Archfey level, we are going to be doing a raffle. Because we are going to be doing a live play of DC20 soon. We just have some behind the scenes stuff to figure out first, so we'll let you know what day we're going to do that. But when we do that, we are going to raffle off a PDF copy that we will purchase on your behalf of the alpha. And the alpha updates every time Alan puts out something new. It's going to drop into that. So you're going to be keeping right on track with anything new that comes through. So if you join our Patreon at the Archfey level, you will be entered to win that. If you don't have it already, if you haven't taken a sneak peek of your Christmas present.
Yes. But you should wait.
But yes, so we will dive in now, I think.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Yeah.
Do you
Let's
want
get nerdy.
to see...
Let's get nerdy as hell, y'all. Come on.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do you want to look at the character sheet? Is that maybe the easiest way to do it?
Yeah.
The current
I
character
think
sheet.
So.
And we're not. This comes with the stuff. So I don't think we're. Well, you're not going to be able to steal this in any way. But we just wanted to kind of give. This is the current state of the character sheet, and I just thought it might be easier to. For Fitz to kind of explain the attributes this way, right? Let's see.
Sure, yeah. So for folks who are familiar with D&D, with 5e, which is where we're going to make most of our comparisons to. Sorry for folks who are Pathfinder people. I'm not sure how this is going to be similar or different. But in regards to 5e, what makes this a little bit more unique is that instead of having the 6 ability scores, you have 4 attributes. So there's might, which would be like your strength. There's agility, which would be like your dexterity. There's charisma, which would be like charisma. And then you have intelligence, which is sort of a combination of both intelligence and wisdom from 5e. And then constitution is sort of in might, I guess, or it would be maybe more akin to your like physical defense, maybe. Or mental defense. It's baked in a little bit differently, I think. But what's super, super unique about this is less so that it's 4 attributes instead of 6, in that you have what is called a prime modifier. So, what makes the prime modifier special is that that number is going to be equal to your highest attribute. So say you have a 1. These are incorrect for if you're actually building a character, but for math's sake, you have a 1 in might, agility, and charisma, but a 4 in intelligence, so your prime modifier would be 4. And then maybe if you level up, you go as you level up a bunch, and you later on start making different character choices, and eventually your might becomes your highest score. Maybe that becomes a 5, and your agility and charisma are 1, and your intelligence still is at that 4. Well, your prime modifier is now 5 because your might is at a 5. So that can change as you develop your character over time, which is incredible, number 1. And then number 2, if we scroll up, Matt, y'all will see awareness is under the prime modifier. Now, I had originally a hot take about this. I hated it. And then...
Why did you hate it?
Yeah, spicy.
I did not like that, because awareness is like your perception, basically. I felt that it was silly to make it one of everyone's highest scores, and that it should still be baked into wisdom. I had a lot of hot takes. And then Alan was like, Fitz. Listen. let me explain you a thing. And now I'm with him on this. Now. He brought me over to the light side because, of course, my instinct is to be a Sith. He brought me to the light side of having awareness be under prime, because your prime is not necessarily tied to... so if might is still your highest score, it's not that your prime is your strength. It's your overall experience as an adventurer. It's your overall experience of being in the world and learning how to survive and to go from adventure to adventure. And that's just sort of like you as a person leveling up. And so your awareness reflects that because you haven't died yet. You're able to, right? You're still able to walk through the forest and not have a bear come out of nowhere and eat you.
Yeah. May I say something real quick?
Yes.
And this concept, this idea of a class that can have any combination of these attributes is just so freeing and cool. And you'll notice that this game just kind of pushes you towards teamwork, and it pushes you towards role playing, and it's not rules light necessarily, it's not rules heavy necessarily, but it does just give you this openness. The Prime is a really good example of this concept of who are you as a person, right? Like, your class is your job. Who are you as a person? How does that evolve and change and stuff? And so awareness, and you'll see it in things like initiative, which is so great. The initiative is so great in this system, because it's not who is the fastest to move. No, it's what are you doing right before something bad or something challenging is going to happen? What are you doing? Like, what is your character?
In the outhouse, deucing it up. Yeah. What are you going to do?
So is that a constitution problem? Are you chopping wood?
It's a constipation problem.
It's a
constipation problem. Roll forward.
Allow me to yes and what you're saying, brother.
Please. Yeah.
I having only played this game once, and we blew through the character creation pretty quick when we did the playtest with Alan at Gen Con, and I really had to refresh my memory. I got the PDF, and I'm reading through it, and there's a really great kind of walkthrough video. Once you get it, you have access to the secret video, and Alan tells you everything about it. And there was something in there that he said that really unlocked this concept for me, and I tried to distill it down and write it in my own words to wrap my head around it, which was, you can, in other systems, D&D, Pathfinder, you want to be a fighter, then your high stats have to be strength and or dex, right? Have to be. If you don't have that, you're not going to be a good fighter, period. Not in DC20. Say you want to be a character like Inigo Montoya, right? Who, I don't know why Inigo Montoya came to me, but he's undoubtedly like a super skilled sword fighter, but he's also really charismatic, right? Or Wesley, whoever you want to be. Yeah. And so in DC20, the charisma can be your highest stat, but we're not putting into question that he's an experienced swordsman.
Right.
He's had the training. He's had just as much training as Conan, who is not charismatic. He's not smart. His high stats are going to be might, right? But they're both, they both have had the training. Why penalize somebody for wanting to play a different kind of character? Why, the interesting thing for me is that this solved a problem that I didn't even know that I had with games like D&D. That, you shouldn't be penalized for playing the character that you want to play, for being Inigo Montoya or whatever.
Right.
So it really is. Once again, I'm just at every choice that's been made here. It's just so interesting to me that these choices aren't made just cause. They're not there to make it crunchier just for the sake of more crunch, because crunch is cool to some people. Yeah. Every single choice is made to support more fluid storytelling. Yeah. And I'll say that was my take on it.
I'll say to that as well. And Alan really appreciated that. Apparently, the question about you're not questioning if they're a good swordsman just because you're charismatic. And I'll say similarly, what if you get together with a group of people, you have not played any role-playing game, and you hear about the classes that you can take? What if everybody wants to be a fighter? In D&D, you're probably going to have a lot of similar first-level fighters, but not in this game. Not in this game at all. Like, a fighter is not going to be the same each time. So that's, yes. What else?
Yeah. Highly, highly customizable.
Yeah.
And then, like, talking about malleability, right? We've got, yes, on the character sheet, and yes, and in the base rules, the skills have a home base where they live for what attribute they belong in. So, for example, I think athletics lives in might. But one of the things that we've loved from the beginning, and I'm so glad has stuck around, currently it's in the sort of GM section of the alpha, But one thing that you can do in DC20 is use the variant skill attribute, which means you can sort of swap out which attribute you're adding a bonus to your skill. So, I mean, talking of 5e, kind of the major ones that everyone talks about are intimidation being based within charisma, and with oh, sugar honey iced tea, I've lost the second one. What's the second one?
Because you guys remember the second one.
Intimidation or persuasion?
Persuasion.
No, not persuasion. Intimidation or nature. Nature being intelligence instead of wisdom. Right. So kind DMs will allow you to maybe do a permanent fix on your character sheet. Not all GMs are nice enough to do that. But what's
like min-max your DMs.
Right, exactly. But what's extra, like min-maxing DMs, the assholes. What's interesting with the variant skill attribute is it's not necessarily a permanent check or permanent change. Is that depending on what you're attempting to do in that moment, you could swap out where your base modifier for that skill is coming from. So, you know, intelligence could be done as an intimidation check. I think that's one of the examples that made it through, where, you know, if you're a wizard who has very little charisma and very little strength, if you can walk up to somebody and just be like, I know I made this joke yesterday, but I'm going to make it for the people. I know your mother's maiden name, your social security number, and all of your credit card numbers. You could use that to intimidate somebody into doing what you want, rather than just being a ferocious, big, hulking grog with a blood axe coming for you, right? So it's very situational how you can change up what you're doing in this game. It's just it's so good. It's like Legos.
So Sinmad asks, I kind of like the idea of behind the prime modifier, but doesn't combat mastery accomplish more or less the same thing? Fits?
But doesn't combat
come on now.
More or less
Let's
the same
go.
thing. For what? What context?
I guess
I've lost the thread.
Yeah.
Well, the combat mastery, as I understand it, so there's and I'm gonna mess this up, but you have
that's like your sorry, go ahead.
You add that you'll add points. So say at first level your prime attribute is 1, right? Or it's as high. No, it's as high as your highest attribute. So say it's 3. Yeah. And then you can have 1 at level 1. You'll have 1 mastery point. I'm totally going to butcher this. Please jump in. Why am I talking?
It's an alpha. we're all learning together. It's an alpha. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for example, like combat mastery isn't going to affect your awareness score.
Okay.
That's fully,
Combat mastery is
is half your level, right?
Yeah. Plus, they add value to different things.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah, exactly. The thing that we love about the prime is just it gives you a number that is then the core of who you are, without having to say druids have to have wisdom and whatever the other one is.
Another great explanation in the secret video is, and I hadn't thought about it this way, is why is it that only wisdom-based characters, clerics, whoever, they're just magically perceptive, and everyone else, sorry, Charlie, why is that? Give everyone a chance to be perceptive, to be aware. It's based on your life experience as a person. Yeah, I thought that's so great. Yeah, that's so great.
Know.
I get perception check jealousy in D&D. I really do.
Yeah.
I get angry
you don't choose a lot of the wise classes, do you?
Art reflects life, reflects D&D.
Exactly. So, all the characters with ADHD now still have an actual fighting chance as far as that goes. Hey, so what's the next thing that we love?
I think we got to talk about action points.
I think we have to talk about action points. So
I
yeah,
want
there's
the
a chat.
knife.
There's a chat going on, and Alan's explaining a bunch of stuff. So y'all keep talking about that. We're gonna talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. Before we move on, we
Okay.
have to highlight Brandon Lane's comment.
Okay.
Incredible. Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
God,
this is
a
what
bodybuilding
DC20 is
wizard.
all about. This is what it's about right here, folks.
It's so true though. That is 100% true. That's why we're psyched. We just want more
Yeah.
bodybuilding wizards.
Make
Arnold.
your
I
own
mean-
biceps your focus, your magical
Your
focus.
foci.
No.
Your
Forget
foci.
wands.
Look
Yeah.
at these guns.
Yeah.
Look at these
Look.
wands.
Hail.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to
Anyway,
steal that idea for our live play.
Yeah,
I want
seriously,
to make a
it's-
bodybuilding wizard.
It's happening. It's happening.
There,
It's
if
happening.
anyone ever read the awesome comic Doom Patrol, you might remember a character Flex Mentallo, who basically was a bodybuilding flexing wizard.
true. Yeah.
If you don't
Yeah.
know, go check it out.
Go treat
okay.
yourself.
Action points.
Yeah, action points. So action points. I'll just say is one of the things that in the first playthrough I was just like this changes combat for me completely. It turns out in newer versions it changes a lot of things. Action points are so well done in this game that it doesn't have to be a combat encounter that we're talking about, but we'll focus on that because that's what they're used for mostly. Alan's created other uses for them, but the action point idea takes a Pathfinder concept. You know, I'm not comparing them, but you know what I'm saying. In Pathfinder, there are sort of action, points.
Actually,
but
I have never played Pathfinder, so I don't know what you're saying.
well, D&D just calls it different actions. So there's always going to be a
action, bonus action, reaction,
and movement.
movements.
But
Free
in
action.
Pathfinder, you get to choose, and you can kind of combine some to, and that's really fun, and that's nice. That's one of the reasons I liked Pathfinder. But Alan really takes it to just a beautiful level where you've got these points, and to the point where he's got like people designing little action point doodads that are really cool. Because you need to be aware of what you're using and how you're using.
What does that
them.
mean? What's an action point doodad?
An action point doodad, like a physical stand with with beads that you can kind of turn on
To
and
track your
off
actions.
to track your actions, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
An action
Which is fun.
tracker.
Yeah. Don't go down that rabbit hole. I was just excited about a fiddle device.
Right.
You're saying that
You like your
there are
fidget.
DC20
Yeah.
fans who have designed action point trackers. That's already out there in the world. Now, that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for
well,
sure.
well, let's break this down.
Yeah.
Fitz, tell us how action points work.
Yes,
Well,
please.
so action points are a combat only thing, first of all. So,
Okay.
when you're just doing general, regular exploration and role play, this is not something you have to worry about. This is only when we're in combat. And it's a way to keep things organized in a more equal way, I would say, than action, bonus action, movement, reaction. Because what you can run into, particularly with 5e, is that some classes, some subclasses have better action economy than others. It also sort of shuts down your ability to interact with your fellow party members.
Yep.
So by having these sort of base level, all equal action points, each one has the same value as another. And you can use them for a gajillion things. You can use them for what we would normally consider or what we would call movement, your action, a bonus action, some sort of free action. That's all still included, but it's worth the same. So you can move twice if you want to. You can hit something twice. You could do a spell and you could move. It's really variable. I mean, that is sort of the basis
help.
of DC20 is everything is variable. Yes, the help
help is really
action
important, yeah.
in DC20 has gotten a insanely good glow up. Maybe we'll have to dive deeper into that, next week or the week after. But having these action points allows you to cash them in for different things that you can do in a round of combat. Simple as that. You get 4, you spend them, and you don't have to spend all of them on your turn. If you have reaction things, you can spend your action points off of your turn. So your turn could come around and you've already spent all of your action points, but it still feels worth it because your reactions are just as powerful as your regular turn actions.
And this is where we get back to the focus of team playing and being aware of the other people on your table. You're not sifting through your spells, like, what am I going to do on my turn? And then then the DM is like, hey, it's your turn, and you haven't been able to pay attention to what? No, you're in it. You're all in it. You're focused on each other because you could, based on what your teammates does, you could want to help them. And that would change what you're doing. So there is like this a little bit more on the fly, but most definitely trying to push you to work and act as a team in combat, especially. And it's just really, as Eric says, it's just clean. It's simple. It's well done. I mean, and you can get complicated with it in the sort of the stacking and the way of use. So they don't end at just movement or attacking or something. You can use these points to basically buff a type of action. There's all kinds of really amazing additions and rules. So you still got a lot to think about. It is not a rules light thing in that you can just say, I'm going to do this, and then you roll a two-sided, it's 2 6s. It's not that. You do have to be, you do have to be like tactical about what you're doing, but it's super fun. It's super fun.
What you don't have to do is think, oh, I can do, this is my action, and I can only do these things as actions, and then I have these things as bonus actions, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not an action. That's a bonus action. Oh, so wait, what? You don't have to think about that. Whatever you want to do, you can do it as long as you do it within 4 points.
Yeah.
So let's get into the stacking a little bit. And I love this because this involves potentially 4 D20s, and there's nothing in my mind more Texas than 4 D20s in a game. Come on. I don't, I've said this before, I get sad in some other TTRPG systems, like Powered by the Apocalypse, where I don't have my D20. I'm not allowed to have a D20, and I get D20 FOMO. And with DC20, you get all the D20s.
How many D20s do you want?
Come on.
How many do you want?
More,
I mean,
at least
4.
Evan, I don't think any of us knew that there was a dice goblin living inside of you until DC20 came around, and then we just realized.
I know.
Unlocked.
Yeah. We unlocked. Alan unlocked your inner dice goblin, but truly. I think it wasn't in our playtest. But Alan did say in one of the other playtests, someone was able to, based on rules jiggering and spending action points, I think was able to roll 5 D20 in a round. So I think that is the record to beat, folks.
So
in
metal.
DC20. It's so metal.
Challenge accepted. Let's do this.
You're going to become a min-maxer just
6.
Yeah.
Yes. You saw it here, folks. I'm becoming a min-maxer today.
Just so you can figure out how to roll 6 D20s in DC20.
That's so true. So stacking. Yeah.
Yes, stacking. So this is a conversation in which stacking and action points sort of belong together, but stacking is an element of DC20 that shows up everywhere in some form or another. The easiest way to explain it, I think, is when we're talking about combat and action points, that you can spend extra action points to either give yourself advantage or negate disadvantage on yourself. So I read something on the comments and I fucking zeroed out. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just roll with it. Just roll with it.
Again, this
So
is an alpha.
all the click clacks, all the stacking. Oh, right. I was gonna say. Sorry. I hope I didn't just bomb y'all really loud. But so some of the other areas in which stacking occurs are conditions. So another area where there's been a glow up from D&D, because in 5e the conditions are many and confusing. There are a lot in DC20. I won't lie. There are a number of them, but they are all cool, and they can stack. A lot of them can stack. So you can wind up with having, burning 3 on you from 3 different spells that give you the burning effect, all clustered on, and now you have burning 3. We even have, when it comes to setting DCs or getting extra damage, every time you get hit, whatever the DC is, over by 5, by 10, you get to add more. So just blanket across the DC20 universe. Yeah. Stacking is everywhere. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It really is.
Unless you have Doomed 6 and then you're dead.
Yeah, it's so creative and it's and fun, like you said, and it's one of the things I'm really as a GM, which I have not done, of course. I've not been a GM, so I'm both nervous in some ways and very excited to kind of like know how those mechanisms work. But
Mecha like a high Mecha Chani.
Mecha like a Chani ho. Speaking of Pee Wee Herman.
Oh.
I know. No, too soon.
R.I.P.
No. I know. But yes, you don't even have to hold them, says Coach. You just spin them to help your friends, reactions you take. So yes, you can just use action points to help if that's how you want to play. And man, that is just the best. It's just the best. You feel so engaged in combat. You feel so a part of everything. You feel like the creatures that you're fighting just take on this level of stakes and danger and excitement to be defeated by your friends and yourself. And if you're a cleric and you're a cleric and you love to heal things and you just want to be aid. You just want to aid people all the time. You don't ever have to swing an axe. But you could always be a part of combat. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'll keep being excited about that.
And talking about, it being a more collaborative play system, I think it happened even once or twice in both of our game play testing, where we were able to give out help die we saw something either down the road or at GaryCon, Allison and I shared initiative. So we were able to really, really dig into the collaborative of play because we were able to spend our action points at the same time. Mm-hmm. But even, back at GaryCon, when we were at different initiatives, we were able to really play and interact with each other, regardless of if it's your turn or not. And giving out help die, it just feels like if you have an action point left at the end of your turn, whatever, just give someone a help die. And then when it comes to their turn, especially if you know something cool is coming up, it feels so good to have given them that extra little click-clack just to push them over the edge. Mm-hmm, it really incentivizes you being aware of what's happening.
Yeah,
within your party and on the table, and it makes you
checking your
feel
Facebook feed or MySpace, whatever
sitting
you're
on
into.
the phones. Thanks, Phoenix. Yeah, engagement galore. Yeah.
Engagement galore.
So true.
Yeah, and it feels good because then it really feels more collaborative and like it just makes sense too. Like in a real world situation, not that we're magic slingers with swords.
Did you say situation?
Situation. Yes, when I have finally gone full Darth Fitz, and you guys have to take me down.
Okay.
Obi-Wan.
I will be lining up to be your apprentice.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So when Allison and Matt have to come and take us out,
sorry,
they would be able to aid each other simultaneously as things are happening, jump off walls and stuff. And whereas you and I could just, power up our Sith lightning together at the same time to take them out. It just makes more sense than, okay, my turn. Oh, I'd love to grab this person's hand and run away with them, but I have to stand here and wait until it's their turn, except you can't do movement off of your turn, so I can't spend my action, so I'm going to hold my action to move until it's so-and-so's turn, and then we get there, and then you're only moving half speed. It's so clunky in 5e, and this eliminates all that.
Yeah. Yes. Garrett says it is just
I think Garrett Martin said it best.
Yeah, it's a buttery system from start to finish.
Buttery system.
It's a buttery system.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Man, I can't tell you. I think every single one of us has been on the ugly end of a character when you're just like, oh, I guess that's all I can do now. I did my action. I don't have a bonus action will work in this scenario, so I guess it's so deeply unsatisfying when that happens to you. You feel so like, really? I have to wait till level 6 before I can do anything else that's cool.
And we
man, not anymore.
Especially level 1.
Exactly. We have I was just about to say we have only played level 1 characters. I don't even know exactly what level. I haven't got there yet. Exactly what level has even been created, but I tell you what, a first level character in this game is so different from a first level character in any game. There is no feeling of, oh man, I'm missing out on blank. Like I personally, as a DM, I do not like starting at 3rd level. I know, tons of hatred. But I get it, right? Like, I also get it because it's, what?
Put that hatred into context. You're saying that players want to start at third level because you don't, first and second level are so, kind of transitory in some ways. That we just want to bypass that and get to that. And you're, as a DM, you're like, no. I want you to start basic. I want you to learn and earn your levels. So
you're filling in all the
DC20. Just get rid of all that tension. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. See, levels 1 and 2. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Matt. Levels 1 and 2 and 5e. Oh my god.
Stop that. We were going to do that. All right.
We promised we weren't going to talk over each other, but
Fitz, please go. Yeah.
I wanted to say that levels 1 and 2 in D&D feel like unseasoned chicken and rice. And level 1 in DC20 is like crispy chicken and waffles.
Yeah. Chicken and waffles. Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Level 1 in DC20, chicken and waffles. Level 1 and 2 in D&D 5e, just white, unseasoned rice and chicken.
Macrobiotic. Just no flavoring. Anyway, but that doesn't happen here, and again, that is pushing everybody to role playing because first level, everybody's got something to do, and that something is cool. I've not missed gaining a level in any of the times I've played this game. Eventually, of course, you do need to gain experience, and I'm excited to see how the game evolves in that way, and then the other choices. But man, you've got lots of choices out of the gate. Yeah.
I think we're gonna do a character creation or at least how to dig into the flavors. Yes, Jax, we are very hungry. We go live at lunchtime on Fridays. Of course we're hungry.
Yeah. I hope you guys are eating, and if you are, let us know what you are eating, please.
Yes, that is the new
D20, like crispy chicken and waffles.
Chicken and waffles.
And we're sorry. Yeah, Jax, we're totally hungry now.
Yeah, we're so hungry. But I think we are going to do a character creation video because in discussing what we even wanted to pull out to highlight today, we're like, there's just so much. Dungeon Crispy 20. That's what the C in.
It is. Thank you,
Rules and Rulings.
Inspiration, yep.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. I think you just won the raffle just with that. Good work.
Oh my god, you definitely broke me. That's amazing. Yeah, we're gonna do character
Crispy.
I mean, why not though?
God.
Really? Seriously?
Incredible.
Only Alan knows. Only Alan. I suggest that you don't ever tell anybody what the DC stands for.
But we know. We know.
But today,
everyone here today knows. Damn crispy 20.
Damn. That's a damn
crispy.
What kind of 20 is that? That's a damn crispy 20.
Damn crispy 20.
Holy.
There were a ton of things that we could talk about. We want to talk about, like the death rules, the resting rules, but are there any things?
We'll get there.
We'll definitely get there, especially if y'all like this and like us talking about it, and you want to hear more, and you have questions. Do you because again, we're going to do an actual play as soon as we can put it together, which I think hopefully will be very soon, and we're going to live in the alpha of DC20 because we've been waiting for this.
If I might be so bold, without the presence of our dear Allison Kendrick, really the person who heads up our one-shots, our monthly one-shots that we do on Patreon,
yes.
I feel safe in saying that those have been 5e campaigns thus far, but I bet you I'm just going to go ahead and say we're going to be adding some DC20 one-shots to our Patreon. So if you are interested and you want to play and you'd like to come play with us,
please
come get Patreon. We are so pumped to just start playing this, and we'd love to play with you guys.
Yeah. And it's a cheap one, and we also have the best Discord server ever. It's full of the nicest folks, like everybody that has been in the chat today. The nicest of nice people. They know music. They know games. They know pets.
Crispy chicken.
They know crispy chicken. There's an entire food channel. Yeah, so
we should probably start a whole DC20 channel in there.
We should.
And just get nerdy about that. So please come and join us. It's free. And we love to just hang and
we love
chat
to
about
eat.
Some more. We love to eat.
We love to eat.
I know.
Yep.
So come find us. Come find us and tell us what you would like to have a deep dive in. I mean, I know that a lot of y'all are like the disciples, as we are, the ultimate fans. So you probably know it a lot more than I do. But if there's anything that you want to have us discuss and like have a chat, and please let us know. Please.
Yeah.
We would have so much fun. And Allison, our friend who we missed today, she definitely approves DC20, so it's happening.
We got buy-in from AK. Good work.
We got buy-in.
And she's on it. She is creating the Discord channel for DC20 specifically right now. So
get in there.
Let's get nerdy, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think not only for our Patreon, if you want to join, we are definitely going to be doing DC20 one-shots coming up soon, hopefully. For those who were not with us at the beginning, sorry, we don't have a specific date yet. Once we know when we're going to be doing our live play, we will give you the date for that. But if you join our Patreon at the Archfey level, we are going to purchase a copy of the alpha on your behalf. So if you don't already have access to that, this is a way to get in on the ground, and that alpha will update as Alan comes out with the new classes, changes, some errata, things like that. So you'll be in on the ground floor. We also obviously have the Discord, which is free, and we will be discussing the DC20s and hot crispy chicken there. And then we haven't plugged this yet, but I'm going to do it because I've got it on my body. We've got some lovely t-shirts. I'm normally team Werebear, but today I'm sporting Bugbear.
You are. Yeah. And Alan, that's the one that will come your way, sir. So we've got a he's a tall gentleman, so we got a big shirt for him.
Oh yeah, we'll send you a shirt. Come on, we got you.
No, I've got it. It's in my. I just haven't gotten it addressed to do so. It's been something on my list for 5 years. But anyway, we meet every Friday at 11:30 Central, 12:30 ET, and so we would love for everybody to come back and join us for that, because we do these things.
Yeah.
We have these talks, and sometimes it is 5e, sometimes it's this. I fell in love also with the game Old Gods of Appalachia. So eventually we'll talk a little bit about that. But we're one of y'all. We love what we love gaming. We love this. We love the benefits, the psychological benefits, the social benefits. We just
the monetary benefits.
The monetary. Well,
which
insurance benefits.
Yes, the health insurance. Yeah,
still working on it.
Yeah. So yeah, this is where we meet for live times. Be delighted if you joined us.
Yeah, come hang out.
Come hang out.
And I think
with
for
us.
the next at least 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to be doing deep dives into DC20. Today, we just wanted to do sort of an overview highlight of 2 of the major overarching new themes of DC20. But over the next few weeks, we are going to be digging into the nitty gritty. So stick around for that.
You like nitty gritty? Come on along. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Jackson, AK, and Fanboy, and Rules and Rulings, and Mike, Spoiratic, and Michelle, and Seth, and
Garrett,
Spark,
and Brandon.
So many. Just thanks, y'all, for coming in and supporting your man, the Dungeon Coach. So, yeah, start there. Actually, if you don't know where to start, I should have put that on the thing. But at the Dungeon Coach is YouTube. That's where he lives. He's there all the time. So go join our burgeoning cult. Used in the very best of ways, right? Like of people that share fun things together. This was fun, you guys. I'm excited.
Yeah.
We missed AK, but we'll have her back next week, hopefully. And yeah, until then, we're the Pocket Dimension. Thanks for entering it.